Welcome to the live conversation with part of the team behind this fantastic film from Mexico, Nudo Mixteco. Hola, hola Lucia, hola Myriam.
Hola Hebe, hola a
Hola,
todos los que están con nosotros.
Pleasure being here. Hola Myriam, ¿qué tal?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Encantada de estar aquí con ustedes. Buenas tardes.
A pleasure being here. That's what Myriam said. I'm going to also be translating Myriam as we go. So I'm Hebe Tabachnik. I'm senior programmer at the Seattle International Film Festival, and I want to welcome again all of you who join us for this conversation. This is the 47th Seattle International Film Festival, this year completely virtual, which is a very special, experience for all of us. And thank you for being part of this special edition. We want to acknowledge that the festival takes place, even if it's virtually, Seattle, it occupies indigenous land, the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people. We want to make sure that you don't forget to vote. You have just seen the film, hopefully. If you haven't, you have still the opportunity to watch it within the Washington state. Please rate the film. We're using stars on each film. You can see the stars on each film page. And your vote for the Golden Space Needle Audience Award. This film is part not only of that competition, the audience, but also the Ibero-American competition. But for the audience, we need your vote, which is going to be announced, the Audience Award, on Sunday, this Sunday, April 18th. And so it's very, so if you join or renew your SIFF membership by April 18th, so you have still 2 more days, you'll be entered to win a pass to the Milwaukee Film Festival, which is going to happen virtually from May 6th on this year, May 6th to the 20th this year. And if you enjoy this year's programming and you enjoy what we do year round, please consider supporting SIFF with a donation at siff.net/donate. So that's kind of it with the announcements. So again, we're so happy to have you both. Angeles Cruz, the director of this, her debut feature, she had a little bit of a last-minute conflict, and she might join us. So, we cross our fingers that she might join us. But we have today here 2 fantastic representatives of the film. And I'm going to start first with Myriam Bravo, one of the lead actresses on this film. Otra vez, Myriam, bienvenida.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por la invitación. Estamos muy emocionadas de que nuestra película esté allá y que la puedan ver, que puedan ver parte de la historia de lo que pasa en estas montañas del Nudo Mixteco.
She's very happy to be here, virtually, but in the festival, and especially the opportunity to show this story, what happened in the mountains where Nudo Mixteco takes place. And we also want to welcome Lucia Carreras, the producer, one of the producers behind this project. Hello, Lucia, how are you doing?
Hi, we're very, very happy to be here. We're very happy to talk with you about our film and to share it with Seattle audiences.
I have to say that, I know this is a personal note, but we are good friends with Lucia. We had the opportunity to share jury duty at another festival in Europe.
Spain, yeah.
Film festival. And it's a pleasure because I think it's the first time you are a guest of SIFF, and hopefully in both cases, we'll have you in person at some point. Ojalá los tengamos algún día las dos en persona, Myriam y Lucia, más adelante. So let's start with, how the Nudo Mixteco idea film story was born. Lucia, can you tell us how is started?
Well, I'm going to talk what I have heard about our writer-director, Angeles Cruz. She is from this community. For if you guys saw the movie, well, this is her community. It's called Villa Guadalupe Victorias, where we recorded, we filmed the film, where we filmed the movie or whatever. She has done 3 short films, very related with this. She talks about her community from within inside of it, and for us that's like the important thing of the film, because it's a very contemporary vision about her own community and about women in her community. And she says, I have heard her saying that in the beginning she thought she was gonna narrate something about migration. And while she was walking through to the screenplay writing, she discovered that she was talking about women and about women's sexuality and freedom of sexuality and things related with that. So she found that while she was writing, and I think that's the richest part of the film, because migration, it's like a excuse to talk about something that is deeper. Not that migration is not important, but I think she was talking about something that is more close to her, that is a woman. And well, it was a long writing process for her.
When did the project start? Sorry to interrupt. How long did the project take to?
The writing process, I think she had like 2 or 3 years. Wow. Meanwhile, well, she's also an actress, so she was working in movies and films, one that she did with me. So and then when she felt she was ready, we decided to make the font process, and it was pretty fast. We filmed the movie in 2019. And we were expecting to be last year touring with the movie, thing that obviously didn't happen because everybody knows why. And well, that's that. As you know, we were in San Sebastian with you in 2019, that we were in work in progress at that time. And well, that's what I know. For me, what is important is that it's something told from the inside of the community. And also Angeles is living in her community now. So yeah, and a lot of the people that plays in the film are people from her community.
And you know, barely mentioned, but yes, you directed Angeles in one of your films, your producer director, Tamara and the Ladybag. And you know, you won awards and she won awards for her performance in that film. And I wanted to ask you, before we keep on talking about the film, is how was that transition from, you know, in your case, because you're a producer director, but then, you know, she was an actress and she had a long career as an actress in several other features and shorts and TV. But now you have a person who presents a story, and she's going to have her sort of debut on a, you know, feature. So how was that, you know, change? And I think it's really interesting, and I'm sure people who are in the audience, because, you know, it's not easy to make films, you know it yourself. And yeah. I like this, you know, idea that, you know, you started supporting another woman director, and, you know, just I'd like to know a little bit more about that part of the project.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think since Angeles directed 3 short films before, she already had, you know, the director's attitude, and she knew what to do. And for me, I'm more a director than a producer. So this is my first project as a producer, wow. Like officially as a producer. And part of the idea was for me supporting another director and understanding what we directors want and what we directors need, not just in the creative process, in how do we get involved in the project. Angeles is producer too of the movie. We are the production company. We are partners with Lola Obando is the third partner, the three of us. And the idea was doing the things as I would like them to be done as a director. So I think it was pretty easy because she knew how to direct, not a feature, but she knew how to do it. Her short films have won a lot of awards. So she knows that pretty well. And we had a very good and clear communication and relation after we worked together as in a different type of relation. But it was really good. It was really good. It was, for me, kind of hard to be, like seeing things happen in front of you on set, but I was really amazed and happy to see her doing that and to see her walking that path. And for me, it was very, very nice to walk the path with her.
I'm going to switch to Myriam, and you have an extensive career yourself. You have almost 10 years as an actress. Voy a hablar ahora un poquito contigo, Myriam. Tienes también una extensa carrera, ya tienes cerca de 10 años en el mundo de la actuación. Has trabajado en muchas películas, en cortos, en largos. ¿Cómo fue tu experiencia? Digamos, ¿en qué momento te sumas? ¿Cómo es el proceso de casting? ¿Cómo la conoces a Ángeles? Cuéntanos un poquito la cocina de tu relación con la película. The question I'm asking Myriam is a little bit of the behind the scenes, sort of the kitchen of how her relationship with the film started and how that worked out.
Ok, bueno, yo hice mi primer película, que fue una ópera prima que se llama Espiral, y ahí conocí a Ángeles Cruz y a Noé Hernández, que también es parte de los protagonistas de Nudo Mixteco. Nos conocimos en el set.
So she met Ángeles Cruz, the director, during the shooting of a film called Spiral, where also one of the actors was Noé Hernández, who also takes parts is one of the leads in this film. And so they met during, a shooting and in a set.
Yo conocí a Ángeles como actriz, como compañera en el set, y esto fue en 2007. En 2011, ella nos invita a Sonia Cobo, a Noé Hernández y a mí a su comunidad. Ella quería contar una historia que era la tiricia o cómo curar la tristeza, y es la primera vez que nosotros tres vamos a la comunidad de Villa Guadalupe Victoria.
So Myriam met Ángeles, in 2007 as an actress. But 4 years later, she asked Myriam, Sonia Ko, who plays Maria, who plays Maria in the film, and Noé Hernández, and Ángeles invites them to go to visit the community of Guadalupe in the Mixteco. Sorry?
Guadalupe Victoria.
Guadalupe Victoria in the Mixteco area.
Y ahí es donde ella nos invita a conocer el ritmo de su comunidad para contar la primera historia que ella escribió junto con María René Prudencio, que fue La tiricia o cómo curar la tristeza.
And that's the idea was to get to know the rhythm of that community, because she was shooting at the time her first short, and one that got also many awards, called La tiricia, or How to Cure Sadness. Yeah.
Esto fue en 2011, 2012 se estrenó el cortometraje y en 2015 regresamos para rodar el segundo cortometraje de Ángeles, que es La Carta, y una vez más vamos Sonia, Noé y yo.
So in 2012, they released the shorts, and then they went back to the community to shoot the second film of Ángeles called The Letter in 2015.
En 2017 ella filma su tercer cortometraje, que es Arcángel, en el cual en pantalla, digamos, solo está Noé Hernández, pero tanto Sonia como yo continuamos trabajando con ella detrás de cámara, digamos.
And in 2017, Ángeles shoots her third short. This time, only Noé Hernández is in front of the camera, but both Sonia and Myriam help sort of behind the camera with the project. And I have to mention, in the case of the Arcángel and the La Tiricia, How to Cure Sadness, both shorts were awarded with the Ariel Awards, which is kind of the Oscar for the films in Mexico. Yes.
Así es como se crea esta familia, esta complicidad, pero aún así Ángeles siempre ha sido muy profesional y los tres pasamos por un proceso de casting para el personaje que cada uno obtuvo para interpretar en Nudo Mixteco.
So that's kind of how this family was born. There was always a lot of complicity, but for this particular project of Nudo Mixteco, all of the actors had to go through a casting process to earn their roles. And now I'm going to switch. Voy a parar un minuto, voy a volver un minuto a Lucia. I'm going to switch. Lucia, were you involved in the overall casting? How difficult was that? You know, I believe you also, you know, a lot of the people in the film are part of the community. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, I wasn't involved. That was something that as a director, I think the director has to be in charge and decided. And Ángeles was very clear about what she wanted. I have worked before with Myriam. In my second feature, Myriam plays a part. So I knew her, and I knew Noé and Sonia and the other actors and actresses. And well, we agreed with Ángeles that she will make that decision totally. She had very clear since the beginning that she wanted the main roles played by actors and actresses, like professional actors and actresses, and the other roles that you can see in the film are all people from the community. And the thing that she talks a lot about is a lot of the people of her community has been growing through her short films to the feature. You know, like some of them used to be like extras or beats in her short films, and in the feature they're already playing a role. So for her, it's been also a process through the years of having her community learning about in front of the camera and behind the camera. In production, we had people from the community in all the areas, you know, like in the art department, in production. They were like very supportive. So in makeup and in wardrobe, there was people, because since the process that they had during the years with the people from the community, they already know how this works. So that's great, you know, because they know they know the deal. So they know what's a call.
Really
yeah,
preparing the industry in the community.
Yeah.
So I go back to you, Myriam. Vuelvo a ti, Myriam. Supongo que en el 2018, bueno, deciden filmar esta película Nudo Mixteco. ¿Qué es lo que te atrajo a ti como actriz en la historia de Nudo Mixteco? ¿Y qué es lo que tiene tu personaje en particular, el personaje de Tonia, ¿no? que habla de una cuestión muy puntual como es el abuso sexual sobre todo el abuso sexual en el marco de relaciones familiares. Cuéntanos un poquito, digamos, eso, la historia en general y tu papel en particular. I would like to know a little bit more about what you like about the story in general, but also in particular, what was your reaction to the character you had to play, which is Tonya, and a person who has suffered sexual abuse and is going to defend your daughter from receiving the same thing.
A mí lo que me gusta mucho de las historias en general de Ángeles es que nos presenta personajes reales, personajes complejos, y que de alguna manera si alguien en la comunidad de Ángeles o en cualquier otro espacio ve esta historia, se puede ver reflejada en ella y puede encontrar similitudes.
One of the things I like about the characters in Ángeles films is the fact that her characters are very real, are complex, and people can actually feel reflected on those characters in the big screen.
En el caso de Tonya, es un personaje que tiene un conflicto que empieza cuando ella es pequeña y como lo mencionabas tú, dentro del núcleo familiar, y cuando se vuelve a enfrentar con esta realidad y ve que su hija peligra, decide regresar a su comunidad a resolver este conflicto que ha dejado en el momento en el que abandona su hogar.
I mentioned, this is the conflict of my character. It starts when she's a little girl, and she has to return to the community when and confronts the community when she sees her own daughter about to suffer the same kind of abuse she had to suffer when she was a child. So she literally goes running to back to the community to confront, and that is one of the things that your character and the characters of the other two people, you're showing aspects of women, and especially Indigenous women, where you're the whole story is very rounded in a way, because it gives us, like you said, real women. Una de las cosas que a mí más me gusta de esta película es justamente esta presencia de mujeres completas, de mujeres que no son lo que normalmente vemos. It's not what we usually see, as women especially in Indigenous women. In preparing this role, en la preparación de este rol, hablaste con otras mujeres de esa comunidad. ¿Cuál fue la preparación que hicieron tú y el resto del cast para justamente lograr esas mujeres tan vivas y tan reales? What was the process of talking with maybe other women in that community, exploring these women in particular to actually get these performances we saw in the film, or the audience will see in the film, that are so real?
Nosotros viajamos constantemente a la comunidad y eso nos ha permitido ir creando un vínculo mucho más cercano, de tal manera que podemos llegar a tocar estos temas que pueden ser muy dolorosos con algunas personas de la comunidad. Como actriz, para mí era importante hacer esta exploración y poder saber por qué Tonya no quiere estar en ese lugar que aparentemente es tan bello y tan pintoresco, cuando detrás de una puerta, una vez que se cierra, puede estar sucediendo la peor pesadilla para alguien.
One of the things that they did with the rest of the team was to travel several times and very frequently to the community. And for her as an actress, it was very important to explore and to know what was going on, and to really understand what was happening in the community, and especially in the character, because this character doesn't want to go back to that community or that town that is so colorful and it seems so vibrant. However, behind doors, once doors are closed, there are these dramatic stories like the one Tonya experiences. And Myriam, in working with the Sonia and Aida, how much did you, one of the things, and I'm retracing my words, one of the things that is really interesting in the way this story is constructed is that, we start seeing the different stories and we understand that we're kind of seeing the same thing happening from the, it's the same event, but we're now seeing it from different points of view, which are the lead characters. La historia, una vez que uno empieza a verla, se da cuenta que es como el mismo momento, pero visto de distintos puntos de vista, ¿no? Un poquito un Rashomon de una situación. ¿Puedes contarnos un poco cómo fue este filmar esta película que es una escena, pero son 3 escenas? How was the shooting of this? That is like, it seems like just one scene, but it's really several scenes at the same time.
Titánico.
Titanic.
Tengo la fortuna de conocer el guión muy bien y de haberme involucrado también un poco en la parte de coordinación de extras y del talento local. Hay un momento en el que las 3 historias se juntan, que es en la asamblea.
I was very... Let me translate this. So I was lucky to be involved in pretty closely in the writing, and also I helped coordinating a lot of the extras in the movie. And there is one particular scene where everybody is connected, which is the community assembly in the main square.
Y junto con Sonia Cobo estuvimos a cargo de este movimiento y un poco, tanto Noé, Sonia y yo, que ya conocíamos la comunidad, creo que era un poco acompañar a nuestros coprotagónicos de cada historia a que se integraran a esta misma dinámica. Entonces, al trabajar con Ángeles, a ella le gusta mucho el trabajo previo. Entonces, digamos que cuando nosotros llegamos al set, ya sabemos lo que tenemos que hacer, y justo cuando se da este momento donde las 3 historias se juntan, que además era justo el momento más complejo de la filmación, se logra hacer una coreografía, pienso yo que bastante bien coordinada, que es lo que nos permitió que las 3 historias se pudieran entrelazar muy bien.
So in order to shoot this very pivotal scene and very complex scene that happens during this community assembly in the main square, one of the things that they did to be able to integrate the dynamics of what was going to happen is, and especially because that's the moment where the 3 stories overlap or intersect. That would be really the description. They intersect. They base this in a couple of things. First, Angeles likes to rehearse a lot, so the main characters knew exactly what they needed to do, and they help the other members of the people who were part of those scenes kind of, again, be part of that flow and that choreography that was really complex and difficult to take for this particular scene. And that is also testament of the fact that Myriam, Noé, and Sonia were such an intrinsic part of the project. They were not just actors, doing one part and that's it. They were really part of the making of the film. it seems like we lost Lucia for a minute, but I'm sure
I'm here. Sorry, I'm here.
I want to remember. I want to remind people just of the fact that they can ask questions. They can put their questions in the Q&A panel or in the chat panel. They just have to make sure that they are respectful. And questions could be for Lucia or Myriam. Sorry, Myriam, you were going to say something. Me ibas a decir algo más, Myriam.
Sí, me gustaría nada más agregar a tu pregunta anterior respecto a mi personaje y yo como actriz. Me gustaría solo agregar que como actriz, que un personaje como es el personaje de Toña, que llegue a mis manos, para mí fue una gran fortuna poder dar voz a un personaje que está teniendo un conflicto tan grande y que algo que me encanta de mi personaje es que pueda tener el poder de decisión y eso, que no lo deje al destino ni nada, sino que decida ella, y eso es algo que a mí me gusta muchísimo de mi personaje, de que esté en esta vorágine, de que ella misma no sepa qué está pasando y una vez que se da cuenta, decida ella misma.
One of the things that she likes the most about the character that she plays, and she likes the character, but also as an actress, first, she felt very fortunate to be offered or to have the opportunity to portray Tonya, because Tonya has a very big conflict. And but the thing that she likes the most about this particular character, and I'm going to say about the three women who are at the core of this story, is that they are empowered to make the decisions and to change their lives or their destiny. They're not sort of bound for somebody else's decision. They are able actually to decide what to do, and especially in the case of Tonya's story. At the beginning, she doesn't know what's going on, and when she realizes what's going on, she's assertive and she makes her decision. So have you shown the film in the community, and what was the reaction? ¿Se mostró la película en la comunidad? ¿Cuál fue la reacción?
No, not yet.
Wow, no.
Not yet. Well, you know the situation that we have,
yeah.
And it's Villa Guadalupe. It's a very small community, so well, they don't have cinema, so we need to make the right projection, the right way to project it. I don't know, that's something that obviously Angeles has in mind, but I don't know if Myriam can put something else in the topic.
Myriam, bueno, evidentemente la película no ha sido mostrada en la comunidad, pero ¿se vio algo en México o aún no se vio en México?
Todavía no sé, pero en el caso de la comunidad, por ejemplo, están siguiendo cada paso es su película y ellos ya quieren verla y están muy emocionados con cada paso que va dando y eso, o sea, a la expectativa de cuándo van a poder verla.
The community is following the film that had, it's already started going to many festivals. And so they are following every step of the film. It's their film. It's the film belongs to this community, and they, of course, they cannot wait to see the film. There. And going back to the story, one of the other things that I absolutely love about the story and the script, it is that community gathering where everybody has something to say about the relationship. It's not your character, it's the character of I don't want to
No, Anaida.
Yes, Maria is a character of Maria, correct?
Chabela,
the character of Chabela, and Aida Lopez, the character is called Chabela. And where this character she's been living in the town, and suddenly her husband, who has been away for many years in the United States, comes back and sort of deciding to reclaim his rights as a husband. And she says, you know, you've been gone, and you know, I didn't know anything about you, so you know, what do you want me to do? Just wait. But that scene where everybody has something to say, and I love the women, you know, what the women in that community also, you know, started to express. Could you tell us a little bit more about just that particular way of solving problems? Because that's what I thought it was, you know, you have the wisdom of, you know, life and other people who, you know, one will say maybe interfere, but at the same time, they're really giving this perspective of, you know, of being part of the community, but also, you know, in the case of the women who express, you know, their support to Chabela's, you know, decision of not, you know, getting her husband back. Myriam, no sé si entendiste un poquito de la pregunta. Lo que quisiera saber es si pudiéramos hablar un poquito, todavía tenemos un ratito, de esa asamblea de la comunidad, que a mí me pareció deliciosa, que me parece increíble cómo, bueno, presentan el caso, y luego uno empieza a escuchar las opiniones, y en general las opiniones de los hombres son más, bueno, que no, que el hombre tiene el derecho, y uno empieza a ver las opiniones de las mujeres, y ahí las mujeres dicen, no, si se fue, bueno, ya está, se fue, no estuvo, no hace, no puede esperar que esta mujer esté esperándolo. Cuéntanos lo que puedas de justamente esa manera tan particular que tiene esta comunidad de resolver problemas tan íntimos, por otro lado. How they solve, you know, very intimate problems.
Así sucede, como lo vemos en la película, así es en la comunidad. Ellos se rigen por usos y costumbres, y muchas de las problemáticas de la comunidad se resuelven en la asamblea, que es la máxima autoridad. Y cuando se filmó Nudo Mixteco y cuando se ensayó la escena de la asamblea, digamos que Ángeles no les dijo de qué lado querían estar, ¿no? Era, a ver, escuchen lo que está pasando y ahora qué opinan. Y era delicioso, como bien lo dices, la respuesta de la gente, sí, evidentemente los hombres más apoyando al personaje de Esteban, y lo complejo viene con las mujeres que la apoyan a ella y las mismas mujeres que le están juzgando. Creo que eso fue muy enriquecedor también, y de verdad, tal cual lo ves en la película, así sucede.
So exactly as it happens in the film, it is in real life. This community follows sort of tradition and sort of not written law, but you know, the laws of what's been happening in the community for many years is called usos y costumbres. And this is how they solve things. Many things are just solved exactly the way we see it in the film. What is very interesting is that when they were going to shoot the scene in the community, in this assembly, they didn't rehearse what the people were, like the real people in the community were going to say. So they just were going to hear exactly as we see it. They hear the case, and they didn't know what the people were going to say, neither the men or the women. And it was very interesting to see, like we saw some of the men, most of them supporting the case of the man. But then the more interesting situation was with the women, some of whom supported Chabela's character, but some other didn't. And that was exactly like that. That's how things happen. And they were also surprised because, again, this wasn't rehearsed. They just, you know, posed the situation like it was a real assembly, and everybody just gave their opinion from what they were hearing. I think this is how we should solve so many things in life.
I want to say something else about that. This tradition, as you call it for translation, the usos y costumbres, is not just in Villa Guadalupe, it's in all the country, in the indigenous communities. They are allowed to have this way of government, not government, but working things. And the assembly is the town. Mm-hmm. The town makes the decisions in this way. And for the film, Angeles had to put the proposal to the assembly, so they had to talk about if they wanted or not the film to be done in the community. So and it's something that it's part of the fight, the constant fight of the indigenous communities to being allowed, because sometimes there's always a government that comes up with things that might change that. But it's very important. It's part of the tradition, and they that's the way that they work and they function. That's their democracy, and it works pretty well. Yeah.
And I think again, it's so wise, because again, it is really the combination of tradition, but it's also the experience. And I think in a way, especially, I mean, I'm not going to give it away for whoever hasn't seen the film and maybe is listening to this conversation, their curiosity has been sort of ignited, and now they want to meet these beautiful women. I'm going to ask you, Lucia, something that, I might know the answer, but I think it's also important because, making a film, it's not easy. How was the support? How much support you receive? How was the, getting the funds to make it happen? And, of course, you were a seasoned director, first time as a producer. Angeles is a seasoned actress, but she starts as a director. How was, how difficult or how easy was to get it going?
Well, as you know, in most all the world, these kind of films have to have state support, because otherwise it's very difficult. You don't have private investment in these author films. We applied to two Mexican funds. One is Foprocine, that disappeared already last year, and we got it the second time that we applied for that. And then with that, when we got that, we were able to apply to Eficine, that is a tax fund. Mm-hmm. We got it the first time. So that was the way that we were able to make the movie. And I think right now, it didn't happen when we were working the funding of this movie, but now there's they are more open, and they're trying to do things that are looking towards female voices, indigenous female voices. That is the Angeles Cruz case. That are voices that normally were shut up, and in cinema right now, there's in Mexico and in the world, this little by little opening these voices. So there's also now another fund that is focused in indigenous communities, and well, things are changing. I think for us, it helped a lot. Angeles' background with the short films, because it's a debut, but with a very strong support in the short films. So is not an actress that is trying to direct suddenly a feature that happens. It's an actress that had a process in writing and directing that took her some time, so she was able to do it. And I guess when you apply to funds with that in the background, helps a lot. So it wasn't that difficult. and it was very interesting because I have done it with my films, because as a director you always get involved in that, but doing it's like when you do it for other films, you have to understand and to put yourself in different spot and to understand what's the project that you have in your hands and what's your relation with the project so you can make it happen. So yeah, it was very interesting, and it wasn't that difficult, but I think because we were in a good position with Angela's background, I guess sometimes it's more difficult for other people. Yeah.
And you know, we have still a couple of minutes, and I could not finish this without knowing a little bit about your projects. What's, you know, what are we going to be seeing, you know, from both of you? No puedo terminar esta conversación sin saber un poquito de qué estaremos viendo de ustedes dos en los próximos meses, años, en qué están trabajando. Empiezo contigo, Myriam. Creo que estás trabajando en una nueva película, o ya la filmaste.
Bueno, después de Nudo Mixteco, filmé una película que se llama Mujeres del Alba, que debe andar ya, yo creo que esperemos próxima a estrenarse. Y justo con la pandemia nos quedamos a una semana de terminar el rodaje de Vergüenza, que es una ópera prima del CCC.
So there is another film that hasn't been yet premiered, and it's called Mujeres del Alba, and you should be hearing or seeing that film that I also starred in the film. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we couldn't finish another film that has, you know, it's in the shooting process still. It's called Vergüenza, Shame. It's a debut feature. Es una ópera prima, ¿no?
Así es.
It's a debut feature of Miguel Salgado from the CCC, which is el Centro de Capacitación Cinematográfica. It's one of the leading film schools in Mexico. So we will see you a lot, you know, definitely. And I know even more because, you know, I wish, of course, Angeles was here. I'm sure she has more projects. What about you, Lucia?
Well, this year, in the summer, it's going to be a filming of a screenplay of mine called Sonus. That is going to be a debut feature for Diego del Rio, a theater director. And I wrote the screenplay, and it's lesbian relation of deaf girls. Wow. It's a very beautiful, not love story. And in September, I hope I will be filming my my own feature. It's called Posthumous, and we just got part of the approval of the funds. So I might be filming in September, if everything happens as it has to happen. Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you for joining us, but I'd like to know if there is something else you maybe want to say before you leave, you know, the conversation. No sé si les quedó algo que quieran decirme de la película, de la experiencia, antes de despedirnos, ya casi tenemos que irnos.
Pues bueno, a mí me gustaría compartirles que Nudo Mixteco es una película donde cada uno de los personajes nos vamos a sentir identificados, donde vamos a poder reflexionar, donde vamos a poder vernos reflejados. Para mí, todos los personajes femeninos de esta película son yo. Y hay, por ejemplo, el personaje de Chabela es un personaje que yo amo y admiro y es mi bandera. Me encanta, quiero fortalecer esa Chabela que hay dentro de mí, así que todos seamos Chabela. Y cada uno de estos personajes de verdad que es una delicia tanto poderlos interpretar como verlos, como vivir su conflicto, al igual que los personajes masculinos. Es una delicia ser parte de Nudo Mixteco. Ojalá que quien no la ha visto la pueda ver y la pueda disfrutar. y que bueno, es una película hecha con mucho amor, con mucha honestidad y esperemos seguir haciendo más y más historias con Madre Cine, con Ángeles Cruz desde México. Gracias, muchas gracias.
Thank you, Myriam. And she just said that she wants to really express the love that she has for this particular film, because she feels that each and every one of the characters in the film, it's someone we can identify, we can see reflect ourselves. And really, she loves, for example, the character of Chabela. She would love to be Chabela. Chabela is kind of her poster child because of how she decides her life, and for her is really delicious to have been had the opportunity to be part of the project. And she wants, she loves all the characters, even the male characters, because she was able to live through their conflicts and see again real lives, her life represented in on the screen. And she hopes to keep working in projects like this and show even more of this men and women. Lucia, algo más para contarnos, decirnos?
Well, no, just for the people that it's here, if you haven't seen it, well, go and see it. It's a good opportunity. I think it's what it's important from of the film, besides the story and the good performances and everything, is the importance of the voice. That it's in the film Angeles' voice, that it's an indigenous female voice, that I think is important. It's not an anthropological film. She's talking about her own reality, and I think that's the core of this film. And of course, thank you, Hebe, for taking the movie. Thank you, Beth Barrett. We are so happy to be here. We are so happy to share our film, and it's pretty sad that Angeles wasn't able to be here, because it's always very interesting to listen to her. She's the one that came up with this. So yeah, I try to bring her ideas that I have heard from her. Well, for the audience, keep looking for the movie. Maybe you will hear things from Angeles in a different context, but you can hear her talk about the film. And again, thank you to the Seattle Film Festival. We are very, very, very happy to be here.
Thank you again, Lucia and Myriam. And, we miss Angeles, but at the same time, we had a fantastic conversation with both of you. It's a pleasure. And definitely, we know that the audience, is going to look at the film. If they haven't, they have yet time to do it. They're going to vote for the film because, remember to vote. We know that we're going to see you in Seattle very soon with, any of the projects that you mentioned. Thank you again. Thank you again, the audience that have been watching this live conversation, and just keep on watching films and supporting these fantastic new voices from Iberoamerica. Thank you, Lucia. Thank you, Myriam. Thank you, everybody. And see you at the movies.
Thank you.